I got groceries showing up.
Hello and welcome to episode number 138 of Unrelenting. It's the Christmas Potathon episode. I'm Darren O'Neill.
Did you like my cold opener?
It was great. We don't even have to go find a cold opener from the show where we know.
I know, right?
And I like when we use a cold opener that's not in the show, I wonder if anybody ever notices or even cares.
It's in the show. It's literally the first thing.
It's the thing. It's the thing within the thing. Let's do the show. I got me some groceries coming. Anything good?
Not really. No, just regular stuff. Trying out some new vitamins.
Oh, what are we trying out? You got the B12 on hand just in case?
Oh yeah, I got the B12. No. I'm not trying them. I'm ordering them from the grocery store. So,
well, then you will be trying them eventually.
I will be trying out some new. Yes, correct.
And I've still got the beautiful Mac Mini running. It did. This program crashed the mix. The open source thing that it didn't crash as much as I got the rotating beach ball of death yesterday.
Oh, I had that happen on a piece of software that I used for one of my games. And after updating to a new version, and I got on Discord with the author, explain what's going on. And he's like, I don't know. Seems to be running fine.
Right, of course.
I'm like, well, it's crashing on my system. So I sent them all of my data, zipped it up for him. And then he looked at it and he said, it's working fine on my end.
You got to love that.
Well,
right?
Okay. I mean, your latest version doesn't work. It's something that's dying and choking on something. So I downloaded the previous version and I've installed that. And so far it's been running fine.
Yeah. So I did notice there was another version of this. So I went to that. It's the way to do it. You never know.
Well, you do know, because I've written plenty of software over my many years of developing experience. And
when it crashes, it's bad.
No, there's always bugs. You can't ever have a product that has zero bugs. It's literally impossible because it's made by humans.
Well, for now, I mean, the AIs will be writing them soon, man.
Those will be bug free, except the problem is the humans wrote the AIs. So
and there will be bugs because of the human bug.
Yeah, I mean, once we eliminate the humans, then everything will be bug-free.
That makes sense. So that was annoying. But otherwise, the machine seems to be chugging along.
It's going to keep chugging along for years, dude. There's literally nothing you need to do to it. Occasionally, it'll install new software. That's about it.
I downloaded the one package, although I'm guessing it's not the best one after reading a little bit more. Diffusion B, which is one of the stable diffusion ports over to OS X, and allegedly uses the GPU. I mean, you can verify that it's using the GPU to do the thing that it does.
Yeah.
Allegedly, there's another one called Draw Things that is supposed to be faster that I will try, because I pulled out the Flux, that the model that I had been using, which they haven't in probably about a month or so online. And it worked just the same, except it was taking about 8 minutes per image, which isn't great. But this, again, is a base $600 machine. So, I mean, there's that compared to go buy the $2,000 video card. And I'm not even sure exactly. I mean, then it would probably still be 2 minutes. I mean, it's not like.
Well, I'm going to bet that if somebody didn't port it, but actually wrote something at some point natively, it would be significantly faster.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that's where everything will eventually get. And what I realize is like, well, a lot of times you want a variation. And if you want a variation, well, that's not all that bad, because you can set it to create 50 variations and then just walk away and come back in an hour or two and you'll have your 50 variations. It's not like it's a horrible thing. Faster would be better. So I'm thinking, okay, this is, trying to do the math. Once the we have the M4 Pro out, but we are assuming that at some point early next year, mid next year, we'll have the M4 Ultra and the M4 Max coming out in the Mac Studio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, well, how quick would that be? So
I think it has more to do with writing something natively, because the version you've got already has AI cores, but something that is written by, I don't know, let's say Apple, that utilizes those is going to be fully utilizing them in a way that more than likely, I don't know this without looking, but more than likely that a port of something coming from the PC would do it.
Yeah, it's all about the GPU cores with this stuff. I mean, because that's why you get the big. But it's optimized for NVIDIA.
GPU cores. It's GPU cores in the absence of anything else, which is where all the stuff on the PC is using GPU cores, because PCs don't have, at least haven't. They will start as well in the new Intel and the AMD chips, but
they go into like all this unified memory stuff.
In previous generation chips, they've not had the AI cores the way that the Apple Silicon does. And so you're relying on the GPU. Plus, NVIDIA has really made a push very early on to start building their architecture to be able to support types of mathematical calculations that are needed for AI. So, yeah, NVIDIA has got a huge leg up. And it's not, they also have video cards that don't do the AI stuff. And AMD's video cards don't do AI stuff, or Radeon. And Intel's video cards don't do the AI stuff. So it's just specific high-end cards from NVIDIA that do it.
Well, Intel's playing a disruptor right now, which I was surprised.
They are, yeah.
Like, well, they have a card that is cheap and actually fairly good. According to the things I've read and watched.
Yeah, I think for the money, it is very good. They're competing in the mid-range, the low and mid. They have nothing in the high range right now. But if they maintain the price point and start building more cards in the high range, then they absolutely are going to be a disruptor.
Which is good. I mean, we want the prices to come down.
Well, it's ridiculous because historically the high-end cards have been around $1,000.
Yes, not $2,000.
When the latest generation of NVIDIA, which is now at this point like 3 or 4 years ago, came out, the 4th generation. So the 4090 card, I think list price on that was $1,499, and everybody was just, oh my God, that's insane. That's an over $1,000. You get a whole PC for under $1,000. Yes. That card is $1,500. Well, within a year or two, it'll come down to under $1,000, so it'll be good. Current price on that card is over $2,000.
Because there's not enough supply.
There's not enough supply, because what's happening is that it was originally the highest end gaming card, and it's great for video games. And also, people that do AI are buying them by the thousands and sticking them into data centers.
Well, they were for the crypto mining too, right? That was, and that they started putting the blocks on the crypto stuff.
But I think at this point, it's completely shifted. Like, the crypto mining stuff is being done on dedicated machines just for the crypto. Adam Curry's got 2 of those things running right now.
Go pull the plug. Be like, ha ha.
I know, right? But and I'm sure there's some people still using the video cards for that as well. But I think the majority of these video cards are right now running AI.
And when you look at that, a video card that is costing, if you want to buy them new, about $2,000, and then you look at the price on the Mac Mini at $600, it's like, well, you can buy 4 computers almost,
right?
At least 3 for the same price. And the interesting thing, and I have no idea how it works, but I did see a video with somebody that was doing AI kind of stuff, and they had a rack that had like 20 of the last generation Mac Mini, not the brand new ones, but they were all connected, so you can connect these things in kind of a Hive way that
Apple has been selling racks for these for decades. A lot of data centers have used Mac Minis for specific tasks.
it's very interesting. And one I would not have thought of.
Yeah, it's very compact, and a lot of times having machines that are independent is better than having one machine that is much larger and much faster, but then it's running just one operating system. So if something needs to get rebooted, something needs to get updated, you have to take that whole big machine and all the virtual servers that are running on there. Whereas with the Mac Minis, if you just, lease a Mac Mini in a data center, it's yours.
It's yours, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It'll do everything you want and then more.
Yeah.
Which just makes me want to go, hey, give me one of the studios, man. Max it out.
Oh my God.
Give me 128 gig of RAM. Come on, baby.
You still don't need that. There's nothing you do that requires that. You do no video.
Oh, who needs video?
Thing that requires that.
Video is for suckers, man.
Video called the radio star.
Right. The Buggles. The first video ever on MTV, kids.
The thickest glasses ever in the rock band.
True. I don't think those weren't real. I don't
They
think.
are. They're absolutely real. I watched the documentary about it.
No, they're real glasses, but the guy didn't really need them, did he?
No, he absolutely does. He's blind as a bat, man.
Nice. Video
Totally.
killed the radio star.
He's probably got worse vision than you.
That will already get us kicked right off of. I haven't even looked in the interim. Did our account totally get blown out of the unrelenting water after because the last episode?
I haven't checked.
Like, is it gone?
Probably.
Have they put you in YouTube jail yet?
Mm-mm.
You like overmodulated there for a brief second.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well,
you peaked. Digital peaking.
Really?
Yeah.
Am I now?
It was weird. Peaking.
I'm doing well with my completely apolitical YouTube gaming. I'm rather enjoying not doing anything political on YouTube.
Well, because you really can't. That's if you want to speak.
But here's the thing. I thought about this too, is like, have I got content for, especially for my show with Ben? With you, we can talk about drugs and things. And
hey, everybody.
With Ben.
Drug talk here at Unrelenting. If you like it, boost.
It's a little different. But like, okay, so Trump's in office, but nothing's actually happened yet. There's nothing to complain about him doing wrong because he's not quite in office yet, but he's going to be in office. So do I even want to talk anything political at this point?
Yeah, it's kind of irrelevant except for the fact that it seems that the outgoing folks are trying to set little booby traps for the incoming.
Absolutely.
And it's like,
of course they are.
Bunch of dicks.
That's why there ought to be if I was coming into office like Trump, I would have.
You would be a great commander in chief.
No, I would be a great dictator. You got to recognize there's a difference
on
there.
day one.
Yeah, absolutely. First order of business, everybody is fired. Now, if you want to apply for your job back, you have to go through a process of qualification and re-education because most of government employees should be fired. That's just blatantly obvious.
Term limits on people that are elected. Yeah, those people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you got a job at the post office when you were 16 and now you're 106.
Yeah,
and you're still getting money.
The problem is that's exactly what's happening, even though they haven't shown up for work in 35 years.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's very much like Office Space.
Mm-hmm.
Why are my checks keep coming? What? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it works. Government is not efficient, which is why Elon.
Because there's no incentive for government to be efficient, and you know why there's no incentive for government?
They're spending your money, not mine.
Not only that, there's
my money too.
Part of the reason, but no, the real reason is because they can borrow money. What really needed to have happened very early on, back when, maybe not year one, but certainly in the founder stages of the country, is they needed to pass a government shall never borrow money amendment to the Constitution. If the government only survives on the money that it has in the bank, it would have to start becoming efficient.
True.
It would have no other choice. But because the government operates like a teenage girl and spends money thinking it comes from magic,
well, it
AKA
just comes
her
from
father.
I was going to say the football coach's Amex card that he gave her for things.
Yeah. So it's they have no connection between what they spend and what the government actually has.
Well, yeah, money is not real to them.
No, it's not real to them because
It's a number.
it not only is it a number, but it's a number with no consequences.
Right. Nobody
That's
went,
the
wow,
problem.
we went from $1 billion to $1 trillion. Oh, shit, we better do something. They went, wait, but we can keep borrowing more?
Yeah.
They're like the habitual gambler who's losing every week.
Yeah, exactly. And we owe more money. And historically, you could say to China, but China has actually divested itself of an awful lot of American debt. It's bad debt. It's not debt that's likely to ever get repaid at this point.
That's why they're just buying up all of our farmland.
That's a much better deal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Then they could at least sell it back to somebody if they have to.
No, you can rent it back to Americans.
Oh, that's even... China owns 98% of America.
Yeah. You know, that we feared Japan was going to do this back in the 90s when they bought the Empire State Building.
And then nobody paid attention.
Well, no, then all their investments started going belly up because because of inflation. The value of all these things was greatly reduced, and Japan lost big time on its American investments, and it ended up selling most of these. And it's not like the country of Japan was doing this, just Japanese people doing this, but they ended up selling the vast majority of investments in American large infrastructure things.
Now, can you just imagine if somebody in the Treasury was smart enough? I mean, granted, one person couldn't do this, but can you imagine if the United States, when Bitcoin crashed down to 4,000 a couple of years ago, if they would have just gone, you know what? Let's put $1 trillion in here. Let's see what happens. You know,
are there $1 trillion Bitcoin? I don't. No, I mean, there
just
are.
Put $1 trillion into Bitcoin.
Of Bitcoin, okay.
Buy $1 trillion in Bitcoin. Wait for it to go up from that 4,000 to 100,000.
I think this is just a scam by you to get rid of your Cardano to the U.S. government.
I would love to sell my Cardano to the U.S. government, but I noticed when the price dropped, the percentage dropped of the Fed cut the rate.
Yeah,
I lost about $1,000 in crypto overnight. It's like, this is not something that is disconnected. I know we've talked about this a lot. Everybody that was like, oh, it's going to be a hedge for inflation. It's going to be in case the blah, blah, blah. Whatever happens in the United States or whatever happens in the world currency, Bitcoin will always carry on. It's like, no, it's very, very, very tied to what's going on.
I've said this more than once in the past, I think even on this show, that in my opinion, Bitcoin is only a hedge in the technologically connected, civilized world with no major wars.
Oh, yeah, because once the grid goes down.
Any of those other things change, war, civilized, Western, and it is no longer a hedge because it becomes worthless. It's a number in a computer. It's funny. The same people that talk about how bad fiat currency is and how, you're just trusting a number in a computer.
Right.
Are the first ones to line up for numbers and computers for Bitcoin. It's like, dude, the only real currency that is actually worth something always is lead in specific shape.
Yeah, well, yes. Or, that you need your lead to protect your gold.
Yeah, but the gold's worthless. Ultimately, if it comes down to it, people will be spending gold for lead in equivalent weights.
Now, here's the thing. Isn't the cryptocurrency market really helping people that want to, say, migrate from one shitty country into the United States?
Yes.
As a way to bring all of their money.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an interesting thing.
And there's several groups of people. There's the buy and hold people like me.
Hodl!
Because why not? Might as well. And then there are the day traders that are making bank on doing day trading transactions in crypto.
Yeah, I've thought about that because
they're all under 25. So you're a little too old for that.
I know. When will we be able to, now that we know both Claude and ChatGPT have interfaces that can interact with my computer? Well, all you need to trade crypto is access to your computer. When will I be? Well, you probably could do this already. Just teach the AI.
There are several AI funds out there, AI traded funds that both do cryptocurrency. They do money market. They do. You just look for a AI controlled fund. You can get into it, and they historically have performed better than human funds.
Because what I would like the AI to
but
do
they're
is
not
just go
crazy high. You might get like a 12% return on your money because they still buy plenty of shit that goes down.
Well, what I would like it to do is have it kind of know, the downward trend has just begun on crypto. Because we all know Bitcoin, all the other cryptos, pretty much the same. They go up, they dip, they go up, they dip. It's not a straight line up, and it's usually not a straight line down.
Right.
So if you could just program, we know the dip has started, so sell. The minute we see the dip going back up, buy.
Yep.
If you could automate that, you could probably make a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
gambling.
Well, no, it just anything you can think of has already been done by professionals that make an extremely good living off of trading. And so, whatever conversations there are about people making too little money or how the government's average salary is now crossed over into six figures, the average for government employees is now over $100,000, which is insanity.
Well, that's why the government can't afford to pay its bills.
Well, that's because the government, unlike the private sector, is immune from everything, from inflation, from any kind of downturns economically. They give raises every year, no matter what. And now they've gotten themselves into a position where the average salary is over $100,000. And there are plenty. I watched a video where they read off a list of government jobs that pay over $200,000. A lot of them you would never think pay over $200,000, but they do. These are like middle management positions.
The ones that are probably not even going into an office.
At this point, probably not. Yeah.
Working from home, man. I'm sitting at home. I'm watching my YouTubes. I'm collecting my salary.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that per se. Plenty of people work from home.
But they do work. But they actually do work, don't you? Or do you just play video games while you're like, client paying me $500 an hour. I am working really hard. And by working hard, you mean I am thinking about a concept while I just do my best thinking.
Somebody needs to stop talking before they say something that they shouldn't say.
Gene's like, do not tell my secrets.
No, but there are plenty of people in the government that are grossly overpaid for what they're doing. And again, it's very often, I think, the cases you mentioned, which is somebody got a government job either at 18 or when they came out of the military in their 20s or something, and they just never left. And this is literally the example of the type of person that's the main character in Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Is a very middle of the road underachiever that has just got himself a government job and he's happy of not advancing. He doesn't want to be a leader. He's just happy to be a follower. And just purely by being there long enough and getting pay raises every single year, even when the private sector doesn't do that because the economy is worse, you end up in a position where you make more working for the government. I remember back, this would have been probably 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. I knew a good chunk of government employees in the Secret Service and the FBI. And back then,
You were being investigated a lot?
Those were, no, I was a lot more, how do I phrase this? I gave a lot of speeches. I gave presentations to people. And back then, like, those were the $100,000, $125,000, $140,000 jobs. Now those are $200,000 jobs. You want to hate Trump? You want to work for the FBI? All right, starting salary $200,000. I mean, that's not literally the case, but if you've been there long enough, you're absolutely making $200,000.
Good work if you can get it.
Not if Elon has anything to do with it.
Elon's like, go away, Baton.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, don't want anybody that's not doing the job. They can make him the Speaker of the House, you know.
They can. I know, that is hilarious. They're never going to do it. They will never put somebody who's not been elected as a speaker, but they could.
It would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious. But so far, everybody who's Trump is pushing forward is dropping out.
And why is that?
Because everyone at some point has had sex.
Right. That's
the general answer.
Right. This seems to be exactly where you're going to get into trouble. I mean, there are, even though Matt Gaetz has done the Homer Simpson backing into the trees and disappearing, they're still going after him, man. I feel sorry for that guy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's stupid is that he quit his job as soon as Trump appointed him without waiting to be confirmed. Like, why would you quit your current job?
You know, and I thought maybe there was a little quid pro quo going, and they knew they weren't going to get him through, but that's when he was going to get, you know, these open Senate seat. I thought maybe there was a deal made there.
Yeah, maybe.
But now it appears he's just going to be a news guy.
I think he's just screwed, yeah.
But he'll still be making more than we do. Speaking of people who don't make any money, I do want to say the boostergrams are open. And Scott Scott from Oxfordshire, UK, came in with $10 this week and said, "Happy Christmas and New Year. Thanks for the sanity."
Nice. Yeah.
And that is money. That is it. $10.
Good.
I thought way more people would come in when you announced that you didn't want any of the donations from this month. that was just all to go to me and to my little Christmas fund. And somebody did send to my random thought show. I think I still have my notes
that's
open
not even
here.
a thing.
Well, JH, he has sent in $10 to Random Thoughts, and he said, "Here's some money. Please give Gene $2 of these dollars for a new spaceship." I don't know how much he thinks your spaceships cost, but
I think he is slightly uninformed about the cost of spaceships, my friend.
For like $2, Gene can't even upkeep a spaceship for one day in his virtual hangar.
And there's a brand new spaceship that just came out yesterday.
For the same game.
Watching a video.
They keep adding more.
Oh, yeah. They keep adding. Well, it depends on which game. So for the main game that I've been playing a lot, and the one that I'm doing all my YouTube videos on.
Well, no, that's
the expensive one. So Elite Dangerous, which I finally got Ben to install on his computer. But Elite Dangerous is a game that is celebrating its 40th anniversary. And it's probably the one that I play the most. It's a absolutely beautiful game. It is a 1-to-1 exact representation of our galaxy, the Milky Way. So there are billions and billions of stars and billions and billions of planets.
And you can go explore each one of them.
Any one of them. Yeah.
That's a pretty good game.
And it's literally based on NASA data. So everything is as accurate as we know. So the types of stars that are out there are correct. The game's actually predicted things that they've discovered later. But anyway, in that game, they've just this year started selling spaceships. They used to be like most games where you earn things in the game. So this year they finally wised up a little bit and decided, we could make additional money for the company by selling spaceships. So they're selling those spaceships for about $25 a piece. It's not too bad.
Depends how many people will buy them.
Yeah, well, plenty of us buy them. That's reasonable. And you can still get them in game. Like, you don't have to buy them. you just get them 2 months early if you buy them when the new one's released.
Oh, well, that you want to be the cool kid cruising up and down the galaxy in the newest
cool
spaceship.
Exactly. Right. The other game that you mentioned, Star Citizen, they've been selling spaceships for 13 years now.
And they're in alpha.
And they're in alpha now?
What were they before they were in alpha?
They were pre-alpha? I don't know.
Pro-alpha.
So
yeah, that's
that's a bit more of a scamming game. But those spaceships, like the new one that just came out yesterday, which is a one-man fighter, is $260. The ship that came out earlier last month, called the Polaris, which was
sounds like a hot tub.
It's a very large torpedo bomber kind of thing. It's like it's more like a submarine is the idea, but it launches these massive torpedoes that are the size of a small fighter and does massive damage. That is merely $700.
Oh, is that all?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I would jump right on that.
Well, not only that, but it requires a minimum crew of 3.
So you have to have 2 friends. I mean,
you have to hire friends to play with you, which, I've tried to do that. And you get them in the game.
Wait. Are you saying that this spaceship will not work?
Yeah.
If you don't have 2 other people connected as
well, it depends on what you mean by work. Like, can you get in it and turn the engines on and take it up by yourself? Yes. But you won't be able to do anything else. All the operational controls and engineering controls, missile controls are all done by other people.
Omega Project feels that for that price, it should come with friends.
I know, right? It just seems wrong. So
they hire some guy out in the middle of nowhere, and this is for a job.
This is a major controversy in that game right now because
are you on Fiverr looking for crew members? Like, I got 5.
That's an interesting idea. I've never thought about getting on Fiverr for that. Put a Fiverr ad looking for crew members to fly my spaceship, paying $5 per crew member per hour.
This is a great deal.
Because you could do less than minimum wage on Fiverr, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good deal.
Well, yeah, because there's people all over the world. So, I mean, there's no minimum wage in, Bangladesh.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. So Fiverr gets around the minimum wage laws.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Interesting. Yeah, so the prices and stuff was insane in that game. And the whole, now you need friends is a lot of people don't like that. Because you can imagine people that play games,
don't have a lot of friends.
Well, no, it's just they've spent their time honing their skills with joysticks instead of their lingual skills in conversation with humans.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So, and that's why it takes people like me who have those skills.
Who also doesn't have any friends.
I have way too many friends. What are you talking about? I get invited to shit all the time. I just don't go.
Interesting. I just pulled up the Motu.
In fact, I just had an invite from Adam on Monday that I didn't go to.
And he was like, please, Gene, do not show up. Do not show up.
No. It was at a musical event thing promoting the whole...
the Boostergram Ball?
Yeah, that.
Live?
Yeah, I was supposed to be at that. Yeah.
A good time was had by all?
It sounded like it. Adam said it would turn out really good, and especially with the amount of money that was collected, so that was good.
Had a bunch of bands played. Mm-hmm. I think, when it all came down to it, I thought the amount of sats that came in was worth about $5,000, which for unsigned bands for a few hours, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out here, I just pulled up in a bunch of different browsers, the Motu interface.
Yeah.
And the interface comes up, but it's not live, I guess would be the best way to put this, meaning the meters aren't showing anything, nothing.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh, you might need to flash it.
It's a little weird, right? I mean, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've seen this happen. It's like everything comes up. I see when I go into the device, it does show my microphone going, and then the output settings, it shows the headphones and the main and going to the analog.
Sounds fine.
So everything like that, the routing part works. When I go to the routing, that's all lighting up, but the mixing it part nothing. It's like dead. Now I wonder if I do if I mute myself here to.
Let's not fuck with it during the show, though.
Hey, is
How
this
about that?
doing anything when I do this? Is that screwing with the sound? Was that going in and out? Or no? Maybe it was. Now you're just doing a Dvorak. Because that's a completely different interface. I can see you stop talking. But if I do go like this.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, see, that's doing nothing. So the mute's doing nothing either.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's all right. Let's not worry about that.
Is crashing.
You know what I do need to do today, so why don't you give me a holler after you're done with lunch, is I need to transfer the Bitcoin before the damn thing shuts off.
Oh, you got your Lightning. They're going, hey, man. Well, you could use... CSB was talking with your buddy who doesn't donate because he hates you now. Was talking to Nick the Rat.
Nick the Rat's my buddy?
No, the other guy. But Nick the Rat is in New York, and he was like, hey, I was going to move. He wanted to move because obviously the Albi wallet thing that we have talked about.
Yeah.
He wants to move his Lightning. He's like, well, I'm going to get a wallet from, was it one of these other apps?
Whatever. Yeah.
Right. And he's like, he wanted to move. I don't know why he wanted to move them into Coinbase first, but I guess Coinbase.
They're going to tax him.
No, well, if you're in New York, they won't even allow you to do Lightning. It's like against the law or something. So on his Coinbase, it's like you cannot do it. It's like, well, you don't need to. One, you don't need to send your Lightning to Coinbase to just go get the other wallet and do it direct. And if you need something as an intermediary, use bolts if you have a actual on-chain Bitcoin wallet, then just convert your Lightning into actual Bitcoin and you'll be golden. But this concept now of these services, which is why, besides the fact that if it's not your wallet, if it's not on your machine, it's not really your funds because it can disappear.
Yep.
This also then adds way more credence to you see how easy it is for a government entity to fuck with your crypto. And I have no idea what would have happened if Nick the Rat or anybody in New York had a bunch of Lightning on Coinbase and then it became illegal for New Yorkers to use it. Then what do they? I would hope they give you a chance to extract the funds, but I'm not really sure.
But no, they're illegal funds.
Right. It's like, no, we're just going to keep those. That's how the government's going to pay all their taxes.
Yeah.
You know, I'll pay off all their debts. Just like,
well, you saw that they've used the Bitcoin that they stole from the guy here in Austin that was running Silk Road.
Oh, well, that would make sense because they're saying that was all ill-gotten gains.
Yeah,
right?
but
That's
they've
like
been sitting on them, and the assumption was that they destroyed it. But no, they just started using it.
Oh, no. How much Bitcoin were we talking? It had to be a decent amount of Bitcoin.
It was millions and millions, yeah.
And where is it going? Now, this, you just assume this is going to be like dark money then. That is, they're not like using this to pay down the debt.
I think it's mostly Christmas gifts for the FBI employees.
Oh, well, the ones that hate Trump. They get the biggest.
Yeah.
They get the biggest kickback. This is very strange with the Motu, but I digress.
Yep.
I don't know why sometimes things work and sometimes they don't.
It could be your eyes too.
No, I can see that part, and it's just like it's dead. It is dead. It is totally dead.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Everything seems to work, so that's good. But for whatever reason, the mixer, no mixy.
Oh well.
You don't want to ask these kind of questions during a show.
I mean, it's working fine. I don't know what else we need to mix. What are you making? A bread or something? You're mixing flour and water? I was going to
adjust the volume level a little bit, but that's okay. I don't need to do it there.
No.
It was just the first time I've seen that.
I tell you, I'm learning more.
Man. I mean, I should go back to Windows, man. Apple sucks.
Okay. I'm learning more about doing the video editing again, which I used to do like 5-6 years ago, and then used to do like 15 years ago.
It's like a cyclical thing. You keep coming back to video. It seems to be,
but it's every time it's a different software. So
that's more fun.
5 years ago, it was the Adobe stuff. The 15 years ago, it was the Apple And now I'm getting better at DaVinci. DaVinci's really freaking powerful, man. I'm really liking DaVinci.
And how long does it take to render out a video file on the Mac Mini? Which
I don't know. I'm using a PC for that.
Oh, well, of course. See, there you go.
I'm not a moron. Of course, I'm using a PC.
Oh, yeah. No, the Mac Mini was exactly.
I would actually love to set up the Mac Mini as the renderer. I just need to have a good means of sharing the files. I've been looking at some solutions there.
Oh, I know. I am drooling over the concept of a all SSD NAS.
Yeah, that's literally what I'm thinking of as well. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like that
the SSD prices are still coming down, which is good. You could get a 4 gig stick for about $220 now,
which isn't horrible. So you get a couple of those, and that way you have some, backup. And then once you add more, you kind of put them into RAID.
Yeah, you don't really need backups for these things. I mean, I say that, but,
Watch with the thing that's like,
I know.
This, when you say that, you look at the device and it's on fire, and you're like, well, what I mean is.
Okay. But not in the same way as the regular drives, which have mechanical spinning motors and tend to fail. Or if you don't use them for long enough, they stick and then fail. So the sticks tend to last a little longer than the old school drives. However, getting a RAID built, first of all, takes way less power than spinning disks.
Oh yeah, way faster.
Speeds are way faster.
Yeah,
size is way smaller.
Right.
I mean, it's all pros and no cons except for cost.
Yes. Well, the cost is where it will get you. And then they have some boxes that I've seen, TerraMaster and a few others that have both the old-fashioned spinning drives and the SSDs, which also kind of makes sense if...
Nah, I don't think that makes sense.
It's an easy
I already
way
have
to back
plenty
up.
of NAS space for regular drives. The other issue is you really, to do it in the proper fashion, to do it to where it makes sense, to not where you're just testing it, but where it makes total sense. You really need 10 gig Ethernet on all the computers that are connected to this.
Yeah, otherwise you'd bottleneck.
Otherwise, you're still slowed down by the network, and the speed of your SSD is never going to get realized because normal hard drives are quick enough. So,
or you also have the opportunity to do a Thunderbolt X, as long as you're, depending on how far the machines are that you want to share between. I don't know if any of those allow you to connect to 2 different devices at the same time using Thunderbolt. Like, can you connect a Windows machine and a Mac to the same device like that?
There's a few NASs or hard drives that I've seen that have 2 connections that kind of theoretically I should do it, but it's not at the same time. It's one at a time. So
I get it. You're going back and forth.
Yeah, you're going back and forth. And I don't know if you could plug in a Thunderbolt to Thunderbolt connection without using Ethernet conversion at any point. That would be super fast. But my guess is that would also require like a couple of $500 cards. So everything that says Thunderbolt on it is priced 10x of USB.
Oh yeah, you got to be quick, baby. It's big. It's quick.
I think the quickest practical solution that's like $50-$60 is 5 gig Ethernet. 10 gig Ethernet is usually a little over $100. Yeah, but that's still way cheaper than anything having to do with Thunderbolt.
Yeah, I'm still cheap, and I'm at the 2.5 max at this point.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I've got 2.5 built in on all my devices, so that's easy enough because I don't have to spend any money on it.
Yeah, I'm just getting a couple of 2.5 switches. All my switches have always just been gigs, so I'm upgrading those.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that gets me a little bit better bandwidth down to the NAS devices in the basement.
Yep.
Opening up that pipe, even though they're probably 1 gig NICs. Yeah. But I think just having that extra bandwidth, being that there are multiple NAS systems down there. Or I know some of those even the older NAS systems, with the double gigabit NAS, I think you can
bond them.
Now, with that, you could probably then just plug each one of those into
like
a
10
switch.
years ago. I had that with my old Mac, trash can Mac, the $10,000 one.
Oh, yeah, the one that they just really screwed you on.
Well, I mean,
at the
I
time,
used it for about a year.
Did you get your $10,000 worth?
I sold it for $2,500.
So, no. So what is 7,500 divided by 365?
Downtown. Okay, this is roughly at the same time that I also had a convertible that I was leasing.
Yeah, what about the recumbent bike? Did you have that? Was that the convertible?
Yeah, I had the recumbent bike too. But yes, the convertible was a recumbent bike. But no, I got about as good a deal on that. I paid $30,000 for 2 years, and I did 6,000 miles total.
And then sold it for 10,000.
No, I didn't sell it. I gave it back.
Oh, it's a lease.
It was a $30,000 lease.
Wow.
So that was not a great deal.
No, dollar per mile was
per mile was like $5.
See,
or more.
I am so fucking cheap, man, with the cars, and I enjoyed it. I got it out of my system when I hit. I think it was about 25, right when we got married. The wife and I, not Gina and I, were not married, believe it or not. Got the Camaro, with the big 8-cylinder engine in it, and rode that thing, and finally just got rid of it a couple of years ago. Once the eyes blew out, because I mean, really, you don't want me in a fast car with the.
Don't want you in any car, actually.
The bigger cars are fine. I mean, you put me into an old Buick.
Not really.
The Buicks, they kind of drive themselves. I mean, it's great.
I mean, not really at all, but okay.
That's why I always see the old people in the big Buick. It's like driving by Braille. It's fine. Nothing bad can happen, especially now that there's snow on the streets.
Oh, God.
I know.
Yeah, so you're housebound now.
Yeah, more or less. That's the fun of the winter, though. Just stay in and podcast.
Yeah.
And now then I can upgrade my switches and see if I can I bought a 2.5 card like 6 months ago, a year ago for the PC because Xfinity upgraded us past a gig. And I was like, I want to see the full speed. And now I'm back to a gig in the to the mini because I'm like, I'm not spending the money on.
I don't know why you didn't just buy the damn upgrade to the 10 gig network on it.
Probably should have, but I wasn't sure.
It was only $200. You're being chintzy.
It's only. Well, it also wasn't available quickly, and I wanted to get it quickly.
Oh my God!
And I did also get a external dock, whatever you want to call these things.
Yeah, does that have it?
It does have a 2.5, so I can plug into that.
So it's got 2.5. It just doesn't have 10.
It'll just go through the Thunderbolt port, which is fine.
That's plenty quick for conversion to 10 gig Ethernet. But I think 10 gig Ethernet would be sufficiently quick enough to where I could do the editing on one machine and then the rendering on a different machine. But the rendering is not horrible. It is definitely not instant. So I've now got some stats on that. So I can render 4K video at roughly double speed on the PC.
So you got 2 hours of video. It's 1 hour of rendering.
It's 1 hour rendering. Yeah, exactly. If it's 1080p video, it's about
2 minutes.
Probably about 6 to 7 times quicker.
Yeah.
So your 60-minute video would take about 10 minutes.
And that was when our buddy Bandrew Scott that does the Ask Bandrew and the Bandrew Says and all that, he upgraded his, I think it was about a 5 or 6 year old Mac.
Yeah.
To the Mac, the M1 Studio. And he said the jump in speed was a wash because he started doing 4K video. So he's like, the rendering times were exactly the same on 4K as the old machine was doing in 1080p.
Well, and I'm using at this point now, a 4-year-old PC to do this.
Well, the video card is what's doing the heavy lifting, though. Is it a 4-year-old video card?
Yeah, but it was $1,000 4-year-old video card.
Yeah, so that'll help a little bit there.
Yeah, well, that's actually a good question. I should try it on my 480 video card in the laptop and see if that's the same speed or faster or slower.
See what does it best.
It is. That's a good question. I could totally do everything on the Mac. I guess I could just copy the raw video to the Mac. That would be the slow bit, and then do everything on the Mac as well, because the Mac's also got a 47-inch monitor on that, because I just don't want to edit on a small screen. I just want to edit on the big screen.
Well, and the Mac allegedly with all of the GPU cores is supposed to be built specifically for like encoding video.
Well, I've got an M2. You've got an M4.
So baby, I got the 4. There. Yeah. You got a little M4 envy, do you there, Gene?
No, not at all. I mean, the Mac is doing exactly what it's supposed to be, which is being on 24/7 and working once a week as a clean feed computer.
Yeah, I just found amphetamine for the Mac, which is good.
What's that do?
It keeps the thing awake, because I noticed this the other day. I was installing something, whatever it was, because I like using Homebrew and Mac, whatever. So, and it was going through like the old fashioned, updating my Raspberry Pi, where it goes in and it's downloading and installing all these packages, and it takes time.
Be doing that.
And then I walked away, and I came back to the computer, and then it just started back up. It's like the computer went to sleep and stopped doing what it was fucking doing. It's like, I don't want that. I want like the Windows machine, baby, where if I walked away, it just kept working.
You're completely fucking your Mac up. I can tell already.
No, it's just
your Mac does not need all these stupid programs you keep putting on it.
You have no idea.
All that is built in. I have a much greater idea than you of what I'm talking about. The Mac will stay awake if you change the goddamn preferences. You don't need to install software to keep it awake. That's idiotic.
Baby. Amphetamine, baby. It'll turn the monitors off, but leave everything else running.
Yeah, it's built in.
No, it's not.
It's literally what I've been doing for years.
It's not built in. It's stopping the
Absolutely
processes.
Built in. Nope, it's not.
I believe you're wrong.
Well, I know I'm right, so I win.
Boostagram. Boost. Hey, Waythorn,
absolutely correct.
The trolls are trolling along here at noagenda.stream. He's like, you need to get some better kind of window management thing for Mass OX. Well, or it said, did I get one? Yeah, the interface does suck. That's the one thing that I really hate with file management. Oh, Bemrose is Icewing. I believe you're wrong. Where Windows, it was great. I love Directory Opus. It's one of the best programs. It was a program that I actually bought on Windows, which is a rarity. And had continued paying throughout the years. And that is the biggest thing that I'm missing from the Mac is a
file manager?
A file manager, baby. Well, it was File Manager. It was FTP. It was a perfect...
cute FTP.
Well, I use FileZilla, which is working.
It's similar, yeah. But Qt FTP does the same thing. It's like same exact.
It was a tabbed thing if you had a bunch of photo galleries. I mean, it just did everything well. And if you wanted to launch a new window, you just double click anywhere on an empty desktop and it just popped up.
That is horrible UI. That is breaking UI. It's not supposed to work that way.
No, it was. It's the best.
You're like a crippled person complaining that regular stuff built for regular people is bad.
No, it's what everybody wants, man. Directory Opus is the best file manager ever created. And everything is so clunky for the Mac. Even the one it's hilarious talking to you between you and Ben. Dude named Ben. Oh, that guy is always right. I love dude named Ben. It's the only reason
he doesn't want any of the crap you're talking about. His comments right now, if we were talking, would be like, "The hell do you need that crap for? You got command line."
I do use the command line as well. But you just told me not to go into the command line. You're like, you don't.
Well, that's because normal people don't do that shit. You don't go into the command line.
But the command line's where the power is, baby. It gets down.
Neither one of you people need any of this crap. Just use the computer as is.
I mean, I even have a little command line script now, the YT DLP, which is freaking awesome. I have now integrated that because the one thing that Does this exist in Windows? If it does, I'm going to be pissed that I never fucking figured it out. The Automator feature app that Apple comes with is freaking awesome. So I went into the Automator and added it to the services, the YT DLP, which I use, and I have all the settings for the best audio. Get rid of the video. I just want the audio.
Is that a YouTube stealer program?
It is a YouTube downloader. I pay for YouTube Premium, so I'm not going to feel bad about downloading from YouTube. And now where I had been, when like a request came in, say for a song that I wanted to download, well, I'd have to take that URL. I'd have to open up the terminal window, which I know you hate. And then I would have to give the command, YT DLP, blah, 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 URL, blah, 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 save it here, blah, 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 audio quality, blah, blah, blah. And then it would download it.
Yeah.
Because it's a command line program. I just
use a browser for that.
Now it's integrated into the Mac system. So whether it's a URL in an email, I can now right click it, hit services, and then click download, and it will do it. And I can do that now just by clicking in the address bar as well, right clicking, and then send it to YT DLP, and it downloads it. I don't have to do anything. It's already there. It's already set up. It's beautiful. Waythorn says Power Automate for Windows is usually included in new installs. See, this is something I never knew. And it's the way to automate this kind of stuff. As you said, I mean, I'm assuming that if I really looked into this, there would be a way to automatically have it generate the tweet, generate the message to the Fediverse, to launch the mix program, maybe even rename the live stream for whatever show it's going to be. Automation is where it's at. And I've just never really figured it out with anything. It's always like doing it over and over. I need more automation in my life.
Yeah, automation's good. I don't use automation because I don't pirate software that proficiently, but
there's a lot of things you can use automation for. When you want to like go to unrelenting, boom, you can have one button that will launch your browser, that will tweet everybody that you're following you, the 3 people in your case, that hey, the show's going live. It can, open up your interface, whatever you need it to do for doing a show, and then it just does it. You do plenty of things. I mean, I know you're just usually playing video games.
Yeah.
But automation is good.
I don't know, man. If I want to snag a YouTube video, which I don't do nearly as often as you, obviously, but I just use a browser plugin for that, and it just download it.
That's for suckers, man. Well, see, I do a show that's a clip show as well. So it is a very useful program, and it works beyond.
The way most people do clip shows, if they use YouTube clips, is they open up 8 or 9 windows, and they queue everything up.
No, that's
and have
not
it all
how it
sitting
works.
there. And that's exactly how. Dude, I watched Timcast. Okay,
well,
I know exactly
Tim's
how it
gay,
works.
and he uses the video. I mean, that's not what I do. We use just the audio.
Yeah,
and the reality is, the YT DLP works well beyond YouTube. It works on Fox News. So if I'm on the Fox News site and there's a video and I'm like, damn, I want to use that clip. Now I can just right click and send to YT DLP, and it will just save the audio file from that video. It is quite useful. But I know you don't do a clip show, but you do a show with dude named Ben. That guy seems like he knows what he's talking about.
Okay.
Is he on the Mac Mini now?
No, he's got a Mac laptop for work, and
he loves it.
He's he bitches about the interface all the time.
Like, why doesn't this work like Windows?
But no, Linux. Remember, he's a Linux guy. Not
but all Linux are so different. I don't even know how you can complain.
I just keep always telling, just use the command line, dude. I don't know what you're doing with that interface.
The command line is good.
I
mean, I did have that working with Windows, which if you haven't done so as of yet, if you are a Windows user, I would highly recommend adding on.
Oh, this is just a Python thing.
What is a Python thing? The YTDLP. Oh, it works on Windows. It works everywhere. I mean, of course, Python. You have to then install a Python script. So, I mean, it's not that hard to do.
It works on everything because it's Python. It's not.
Everybody loves Python, baby.
No.
YTDLP. No. It is exactly what you need if you want to download, especially if you want to like separate the audio, have the choice on what kind of resolution you want. But I would highly recommend for Windows users to download Power Toys. It comes directly from Microsoft, believe it or not. And it's one of the useful things that Microsoft has, which means it doesn't come with Windows by default because it actually works. So I have been very used to the only slight difference is now rather than hitting the Alt space bar, which you do with Power Toys to open up the little window to, the little prompt box rather, to type what you want. Now it's the Mac space bar, and then the little thing comes up for the spotlight search. So you can just type in, if you want to launch Mix, you pop that, you do, okay, boom, MIX, and then it pre-fills, and you hit enter, and the thing pops up. I mean, that's about as close to a lot of people ever want to using the command line, but it's way more convenient if you know what you want to run rather than people that still go. I mean, anybody know anybody that still goes to like a start menu and like, where's the icon? Where's the app?
But how do you launch apps?
I just told you.
I type something in to launch an app. That seems like way too much motion.
Are you high?
I'd rather just click an icon.
Are you fucking high by any chance? So you would rather, you click the little, the launch pad and then you find the icon that you're looking for.
There's nothing to find. They're all on there all the time.
How many pages are you looking through now?
Pages? Yeah. I have 8 pieces of software.
That's all you have on the Mac?
What else do you need?
Man,
I don't load a bunch of crap to keep my Mac awake.
I'm telling you're not doing it right.
Uh-huh.
I find it to be much easier to just go like, okay, so I want to launch, Chrome. It's already launched. So you hit the Mac space bar, boom, CHR, and there it pre-fills Chrome. You hit enter, Chrome loads. I mean, it's way faster than looking for an icon.
You got Safari. What do you need Chrome for?
Why would I ever use Safari, man? Safari sucks. I do not use Safari. I use Thunderbird for email because I love Thunderbird.
Oh, my God.
Now, I have the bridge installed for Proton Mail, and I've been using Proton Mail now, and I love me some Proton Mail now.
Yeah, Proton Mail's good. I've been using that since I started the whole Surgene thing.
Yeah, you got to get rid of Google. The Proton Mail, the Pro version, the thing that really sold me on it was, one, for the Pro version, they give you 500 gig of online overall storage. So, I mean, that's your email plus whatever else. And it's nice to be able to store some files in the cloud. 2, it has a password manager if you want to use it. I have to test it because I've been using RoboForm for like 20 years.
Okay.
And hey, dude, it works. It's easy. It works on every
Just memorize
phone.
your damn passwords.
I love memorizing random. Okay, if you can tell me without cheating, a 30-digit not just a random password.
No one gives a shit about getting into your account. You don't need a 30-digit random number password.
Everybody does. You got to have random, man. It's all brute force. You're avoiding that. You are horrible at computer security. Bemrose is like screaming at the monitor right now. He's like, this guy is an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You need a password manager, although you don't want to use.
Do not need a password manager.
NetNet says Gene isn't a power user. Well, see, that is true.
No, I'm an actual user.
You don't have a password manager. Around. Literally, what do you don't?
No, I use my brain. I don't have a password manager.
So all of your passwords are like spaceships 1, 2, 3.
No, they're all at least 30 characters.
So spaceships 1, 2, 3. There,
maybe.
I mean, there is something to say about the, the length and the simplicity, and that.
And what makes you think my passwords are in English?
Oh, true. They could Russian. So now we know to open up the Russian dictionary in the Jack the Ripper software, folks, and go to town on Surgene. See if you can get into... just use the same dictionary word for every password. That's what Bemrose suggests. I mean, that's because he's trying to hack you. But I mean, there's besides that, everybody needs a password manager, but that's part of
absolutely not
Proton Mail.
Only dumb people do.
And the thing that really sold me, well, besides the fact that you could also use 3 different addresses from 3 different domains. So, I mean, if you wanted to pull in, Darren at Random Thoughts, Darren at Planet Rage, and
Google will do that too.
Well, in a slightly less permanent way. Google will allow you to forward, although unless you're talking about their paid service.
Well, you're paying for this service.
Yes. I mean, with Google, you're paying with all of your data. But I really like that they will let you generate a unique email address, as many as you want, that has nothing to do with your current address. So it's not just like, Surgene plus buttfuck at whatever. Totally different. It would be a completely unique address. And they let you generate as many of those as you want, which is the selling feature, because I'm tired of getting fucking spam. I'm tired of the fucking retarded people.
I don't get spam.
Of course, JCD doesn't either. And the problem is my email addresses have existed for so long.
Yeah.
And I also have now confirmed, and I really don't know what I should do, if anything, but I have tracked down, because of purchases made by a Darren O'Neill in fucking, there's, I think, one in Kiwiland. There's one in the UK. There's one in Dublin. There's one in
surprising.
Canada.
All of those are just shockers.
And but they all think their fucking email address is my Google address because they've used it.
Right.
And it's like, I just want to fuck with people that do that because it gets really annoying.
Well, you should.
And it's like, so what do you do once you have, because, receipts come through this time of year, like, thank you for your order of whatever. It will be shipped here. It's like, oh, now I know where you live, motherfucker. But how do you utilize that to mess with somebody? I guess that's the question.
Email the company back and say, you changed you have the wrong address. The address isn't actually here in Chicago.
Yes, please send
ship
it
here. Yeah, exactly.
That's a great idea. I wonder if I can do that. I did that with, I think it was Temu. Temu is one of these places you can order shit from. Like, it's like the Chinese.
I've seen way too many of their ads, but I would never order anything.
Oh, I wouldn't either. But the dude in, I don't remember if it was UK or the Aussie dude. One of them ordered from Temu. And because of that, I was able to reset the password.
Nice.
And log in. And here's the thing. Temu was nice enough to store his credit card.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
All right. So I ended up buying, and it was just bizarre shit like G-strings and like weird pants, like sweatpants. I just put a bunch of things in the cart and like bought it.
Okay.
And he was not very happy when he got this stuff.
Well, how do you know he wasn't happy?
Because I was able to see they were still keeping my address in when the support was going back and forth. It was great. It was fucking
wow.
And he changed his credit card number too, which was hilarious because Temu didn't actually show me his credit card number. It was just it was stored, so I was able to buy things through them.
So he probably thought he got hacked.
Yeah.
You should have sent them in demand.
I have seen the videos of you jerking off of your computer.
This is what I love about Cyberpunk 2077. Speaking of other games, is that on the computers in that game, if you go to people's emails, there's some useful emails as well for the game, but there's tons of spam like that. Like, I have been monitoring your video camera and I know what you've been doing.
Yes, I don't have a video camera though.
I know, that's the best part, right? What do I say? I have the videos recorded from your oh, that's funny. Computer doesn't have one.
What your answer is? Holy shit, thanks, dude. I lost my copy. Can you send it?
Yeah, right.
Can you like post those to YouTube for me and just send me a link? Thanks. The scams are interesting, which is another reason why having the Proton Mail, if it's the right email address, if a company sends you an email, you use one unique alias for everything.
Oh my God, you're now repeating what I've been saying for a decade, and you used to argue with me, and Bemrose used to argue with me about.
I would never argue with you about that.
You should always have a separate email for every company you deal with.
I agree.
And I've been doing that for decades. That's why I don't have spam.
Because the greatest thing is, if you're fucking done with the company, you delete the email address and you've ghosted
you can
them.
block the email address. Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Boom, they're gone.
So everybody's a variant of their company name.
Well, and that's what I used to do, and I realized this is better than nothing, but it was still easily fucked with. Meaning, if somebody saw Darren O'Neill plus Amazon at gmail.com, well, then they might go, well, he might be Darren O'Neill plus Hulu, or he might be Darren O'Neill plus this. So you can't just use the name. You have to do something.
Well, you just don't use Gmail. You just use the name of the company, not plus Darren O'Neill.
To what email address is it going to?
I own domains,
Gotcha.
dude. I don't need to worry about what is in front of the name.
You're like, I am Amazon at gmail.com.
Exactly. So why even bother putting your name in there? You don't need your name in there. And
that's what Bill O'Reilly said. Never
one
give
of my
anybody
domains,
your email address.
Yeah, exactly. One of my domains is neverspam.me.
See, that is a great fucking domain. How do I get an email on that?
I can set one up for you. I own the domain. That's not a problem. But basically, anybody that is a one-off sign-off that like requires an email address, I just use that domain for it. Because it's easy enough. Basically everything in there is going to be spam unless I'm looking for something specific that I just signed up for.
Oh, you just got some spam there. I heard it coming through.
Yeah, I know. I should probably turn that down. But it's
is that one of your two friends that are on the spaceship waiting for you to launch?
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, man, where you at?" No, I think it's my food is probably going to be arriving any minute. My food order is supposed to be here before the show ends.
A nice big slab of ribs.
Yeah, something like that. January 2nd. Do I want to take a meeting on January 2nd, or am I going to be still asleep?
That is the first work day of the year.
What day of the week is that?
That is a Thursday, right?
Oh,
yeah. The 2nd is a Thursday.
As long as it's not a Friday, I guess I can take a meeting.
Oh, never on a Friday, baby.
Fine. I'll take a meeting.
Are we taking next week off? That would make sense. Not like
I'm not. No, you're not either, dude. No, we're doing the show. As far as I'm concerned, this is my only means of making money right now. So we're doing the show.
No, it's not. You make $5 a day from YouTube.
I do.
You're like, I finally hit the big time.
It's my real job. It's YouTube.
$5 a day.
Yeah, make fun of it all you want. It literally requires me to do nothing but hit the record button when I'm playing video games.
And doing other things in front of the camera.
No, that's not on YouTube.
Bemro says I podcast even if I don't have a co-host or a microphone or an internet connection. The podcast.
Well, I mean, you're probably not going to be, getting paid for ads if you don't have a microphone or an internet connection.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid for ads here either. So
my point is, some people have actually done this. I have never done this successfully, but some people's YouTube video channels are nothing more than them watching other people's YouTube channels
and doing reaction kind of things.
Yeah. So that's like next level free money because
like meta.
Your job is to not create anything original, but simply to react to other people's creations, and then you get paid for it.
The Reverend Dr. Pfeiffer says we were getting paid for CSB ads for a while there, but then Gene he made CSB bad, and it dried up the $3 a show that we were
$3 a show. Oh God, what are we gonna do? I don't know, man.
I don't know. I mean, I hear in the past you have sent your co-host some just extravagant Christmas presents, and I'm like, well, I mean, maybe
you heard wrong. I got some extravagant Christmas presents. I never sent any.
Let's see. Next week we have Christmas Eve on the Tuesday.
Yeah,
Christmas
Merry Christmas
Day
and all
on
that
the
jazz.
Wednesday.
You got any Christmas turkey plans, or what are you doing? Goose, turkey, nothing.
Beef tenderloin, which
Beef tender. Oh, interesting. That's what's his face is doing the same thing. My other co-host,
a dude named Ben. Well, it makes
That
sense
guy.
because you're in Tejas.
He was telling me yesterday he's prepping the bone-in ribeye. Bone-in ribeye.
Oh, that's like a prime rib.
Right, exactly.
I was just doing the beef tenderloin. I mean, the prime rib.
I know, but that's the part I prefer is tenderloin myself. But he likes the ribeye more. It's all right. It's probably the second best piece of meat.
You know, it's what my mom wanted, which also means I will be the one cooking it because, well, my mom doesn't really cook. So,
yeah.
But it's not hard. The only question becomes with a beef
rosemary
tenderloin
on there.
To sear or not to sear. I mean, the searing is the biggest pain in the ass when you're dealing with like a 6-7 pound tenderloin.
It is totally not a pain in the ass.
You have to have a really big pan.
No, you just need a torch.
Well, see, I don't have a torch, although I guess
you could buy a torch for $12.
Let's go get a nice butane torch.
Yeah, for food cooking, it's $12.
Well, that would work
on Amazon.
Way better than
probably $3 on Temu.
But you never know what's going to be in it as a fuel. We're just spraying this with
kerosene.
Tastes good, let me tell you.
Yeah, all you got to do to torch is get some butter, melt that butter, and just pour it over the meat, and then torch it.
Torch that meat.
And you'll get a very nice little brown golden crust on there.
Then you throw it in the oven.
And the only reason you want the butter is because the tenderloin is not fatty at all. If you're using a fatty cut of meat, kind of like the ribeye, you don't need any butter, man. It's got plenty of fat to melt when you're torching it.
Yes, which is also why you want to get a little bit of that. I mean, while you get the sear on most other cuts of meat, it's that nice slow and low to get the inside where you want it.
Yeah.
Which I love the more fatty cuts of meat, but I understand you're a little more dainty. You like the filet mignon. Rather than the
best part of
manly
exactly cuts. I've eaten it straight off the deer.
Okay, the deer now filet mignon.
Yeah, the tenderloin, deer tenderloin, right off the carcass.
It's not even
raw.
Cooked.
Nope, don't need to be cooked. It's the most tender meat you can have. Does not require cooking. I
mean, we will still cook ours a little bit. I mean, you got to get nice medium rare. I don't think the rest of the family's quite ready for plenty rare.
But really, it should be blued. It should have that torch applied outside, and still cool to the touch inside.
Waythorn says the tenderloin doesn't need a sear. That much is correct.
Mm-hmm.
I think a big part of it will be the preparation. We are picking up the meat. Got to pick up the meat on Monday.
All right.
And then what my plans would be to, unwrap it, get it nice and dry, salt it, and then leave it in the refrigerator uncovered until it is cooked on Wednesday.
You want to salt it?
Well, you have to salt the outside.
That'll dry it out.
Right. Well, that's what you want, to get a nice little crust on the outside.
That's a waste of meat, dude. There is no outside on it. It's like the whole thing is the same consistency.
Dude, everybody's got to salt their meat.
No, definitely not.
Go look at every professional cook out there. They will tell you. Any chef worth his salt, pun intended, you got to put the salt, and that also helps tenderize the meat.
No, you totally don't, dude.
You don't even know.
Well, you don't tenderize a tenderloin.
You don't even know. You do. You salt your meat.
I have.
Then you oil it up.
I've done a month of nothing but tenderloin.
You were doing it wrong.
25 different ways with photos for a cookbook. Tenderloin is something I've cooked a lot of.
I was going to ask that.
And you can do a lot of things to it, but you don't really need to. What?
Where is the cookbook? That sounds like a great idea.
It's same place as my password.
It also, it's in your brain. It all sounds
exactly.
It kind of sounds very elitist.
It's coming along.
Like 25 ways to eat caviar with gin of Duluth.
I did this. So you remember this was like 3 years ago. I did like 2 months of nothing but steak, pure carnivore, But out of that 2 months, I did a month of nothing but tenderloin.
Net in the troll room asks, is Gene retarded? You have to salt meat.
Oh my God. You absolutely do not have to salt meat. No, you're brainwashed, dude. You totally do not have to salt meat.
I love this show. It is so much fun.
This is hilarious. Yeah.
We do usually provide cooking tips. So, I mean, it's right down there. Yeah, a little garlic powder.
Look, you can do a lot of things to it, but you absolutely do not need to do it. You can salt to flavor if you like the salt flavor. You don't need to. A lot of cultures don't use salt.
They're wrong.
And the tenderloin is a very unique piece of meat that is different from just about every other cut on the cow. And it does not require all these tenderizations that other cuts of meat do because it doesn't have all that inner muscular connective stuff in it.
I mean, I do understand that much. I do want a nice big cut.
It is similar to saying things about raw fish, sushi or sashimi, actually. That, oh yeah, well, you can't eat sashimi without soy sauce. Well, absolutely you can. And the use of soy sauce is for a very specific reason. Traditionally, it's because the fish was off and you needed something to kill off that bad fish flavor. And that becomes part of the taste buds. Same thing with salt. Salt was a preservative, but people got used to the taste of salt because they got used to eating things that were preserved by using salt.
See, now my favorite would be the WR's cut over at Gibson's here in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Oh, let me finish up on salt real quick. So like my dad is one of those guys that you've probably seen him in the movies. When he gets a steak, before tasting it, the first thing he does is reaches over for the salt shaker and then just covers the thing so it's completely white on the outside. And then he actually tastes it. It's insanity.
Yeah, I would not do that. I would not. I mean, now salting it before cooking it, that's a little bit different. And I know there's a lot that the salt, again, is used to get you a nice dry exterior. And there's people that will do the salting and then kind of brush the salt off then before cooking. It's only there to do what it needs to do. But yeah, you don't want...
Oh, I've cooked a really tasty salt-encrusted halibut before.
Oh, just
that's
for the halibut?
Really good. But you don't eat the salt. I mean, you cook it in the salt. You bake it in the salt.
Net says, I use yellow mustard on pork. So, I mean, there's...
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
It is the very versatile. You don't need any
and mustard go well together.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need the fancy Dijon, though. Just a nice generic yellow will do just fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, well, I use the, it's a Russian mustard that's imported here.
Well, of course.
The best,
of course. Your mustard guy, Vlad, gets you the best stuff.
I know. It's Vlad. Vlad gets me the mustard.
And he's not the same Vlad that is the caviar guy. Vlad. It's very confusing. Different Vlad entirely.
Yes. And then I have Igor for the cabbage. So
yeah, well, yeah, you have to. You have to have
the cabbage guy.
Then you got a pierogi guy. You need a pierogi guy if you're going to get through the holiday season.
Well,
it makes a great gift. The gift of pierogi.
Is that how it is?
You can freeze them. I mean,
my bagel guy's late in shipping my bagels over.
Oh, geez.
I know. I was like, I thought I'd have them by Christmas, but apparently they're going to show up after Christmas.
Is he from Brooklyn?
Yeah.
I
get bagels shipped over.
It's the only place to get your bagels.
Yep.
Correct. The WR's cut, Chicago from Gibson's, you can actually get a 4-pack sent to somebody for $287, which would be 4 22-ounce beauties, which was named for the Chicago Tribune food critic at the time, William Rice.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that the place...
That sounds like bribery.
Kind of. He said that the place should have its own signature steak in the mid-90s. I guess they didn't. So
interesting.
It says, we went to our meat purveyor and asked for a prime cut of meat.
They got a meat guy.
They got a meat guy. You got to. And it's a bone-in ribeye. It says an unknown cut of meat at the time. There was a time, kids, when a bone-in ribeye wasn't a thing.
Wow.
And these are just so good. They are so good at Gibson's, and it's because of the fat. I mean, it's a completely different experience when you compare it to a tenderloin filet. Just such a different experience. But delicious. Both are.
Yeah, look, I'll eat a prime rib. I just won't enjoy it as much as people that really like fatty meats.
And that is another one that is unique, shall we say, because that's really fatty. That is really fatty. And that was Gibson's. I think I told the story here, or maybe it was over on another show that my parents went to Gibson's with a friend of theirs. And this guy, was like 85. He was an old dude. And he ordered the prime rib well done. And it's like, that's okay. It's wrong in so many ways. I get it.
Yeah.
But they brought it out and he was like, no, it's still not well done. So they took it back and it came out again.
No!
I know. And he did it again. And then they finally got it to his liking, and then they wouldn't charge him for it. And he's like, why aren't you charging me for it? Well, because we didn't get it right. It's like, well, okay. I mean, I get it.
Well, that and the fact that somebody just took their shoes apart and then gave him the sole, and then he ate it. And so they felt bad about charging him for eating a shoe.
Somebody, the guy, and the interesting thing there is I fully understand it. And I thought it was hilarious that, the chefs, the cooks in the kitchen were told
on that meat.
Never
Absolutely.
to do this.
Yeah.
They're like,
no, if somebody wants to ruin their food, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But but any liability thereof would disappear. I would absolutely charge them full price for that.
Yeah, he wanted them to, but this is why Gibson's is known as a top of the line kind of a place where they pride themselves on getting you what you want. And I get it.
That's good.
And their desserts, oh my God, their desserts are fucking huge. I mean, enough for like a family of 6.
Really? So they're like a delicatessen, like a Carnegie Deli type dessert?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it was hilarious. The one time we went in, my parents took my wife and I, it must have been for one of our anniversaries years ago. And for dessert, we ordered something with ice cream. And I mean, there was so much ice cream. I mean, you and me and Bemrose, I mean, we still wouldn't have put a dent in this. And my mom was like, oh, it's too bad we can't take it home. And they're like, oh, you can. They had special fucking things.
Oh, my God.
For you to take the frozen desserts home.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I'm like, that's phenomenal.
Now, why didn't you tell me to go there when I was in Chicago? Instead, I went to that pizza place.
I don't know. I kept telling you Gibson's, baby. Everything that we talked about on this show, we're like,
you told me Gibson's.
If we're going to be doing a steak dinner for Dale or whoever it gets to the point, who hits Dale status, then that would be Gibson's. And of course, I don't know if that means we would pay for their steak. I mean, we would let them buy us a steak. I know that for the very least.
If I remember correctly, back when No Agenda was talking about the first ever Knights get together in Vegas, like year 2, because there's only 10 people that were Knights.
Very few, right? It was an elite group at the time.
It may have been 20, but it was a small number. And when they started talking, and then that issue came up, and John instantly chimed in, well, of course, they're going to buy us steak dinner.
Well, yeah.
I was like, okay, so we got to fly out to Vegas.
Yeah.
Got to stay there, pay for the hotel, and then have dinner with John and Adam and buy them dinner. Like, okay. And then John was wondering why only 2 people RSVP'd.
Really? You're like, well, you have to come out and, but I understand it to a certain extent because it depends on what you're offering. And that's why I think maybe we dropped down really quickly to like, well, we can buy pizza for everybody. Is because, now.
I know. I think we buy a drink for everybody and then
call it a day.
They buy us dinner.
Because the reality is, if you were to buy, if it was unlimited, if you will, like, hey, we're going to Gibson's, buy anything on the menu, steak, side, dessert. Well, that could, if you add alcohol in, you could be more than $1,000. So,
I'm sure.
It's like, well, okay.
Well, how could you possibly eat for less than that?
Right. I mean, it would be just ridiculous to think you can have a meal for under $1,000.
Is that even that like maybe 20 years ago?
Yeah. I mean, maybe. Way back when they got some
not
good
today.
No, of course not today.
In today's world.
I mean, let's see, what's the price on there? I
think I told you I had my most expensive shopping grocery shopping for the week last week or 2
Wow,
weeks
it's still
ago.
going up then.
It was $260 for one person for 1 week.
How many bottles of iced tea?
12 bottles.
12 bottles of iced tea. How much in proteins? What are we getting? What do we talk? Meat? Any
Actually,
steaks
mostly
or
ham.
ham. I mean, well, it is that time of the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a ham, and I just bought a ham
Ham's
again.
cheap.
I mean, the ham is so cheap.
Yeah.
Last year I bought one and then forgot about it in the fridge and never cooked it. Because the hams for like, what's a big ham? 10 pounds, maybe.
Yeah.
Like for a 10-pound ham for like $8.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go over to the deli and it's like, how much for a pound of the ham? Well, that'll be $10.99. Right. It's like, are you high? I don't get it.
Yeah. No, there's a significant markup. The worst one is chicken, I found. So the grocery stores, a lot of them, including my HEB here, have a very cheap roast chicken. Like Costco has a super cheap
like
roast
$6,
chicken.
$7 for a rotisserie.
Yeah, it's I think literally $6. It's $5.99 for a roast chicken, and it tastes good. They're not as big as the Costco ones. Costco's ones are like mega chicken.
Well, yeah, some have cut down, and the chickens are like, is this even a chicken or is this like a pigeon?
It's bigger than a pigeon, but it's not as big as Costco. But either way, so it's $6, right? And it weighs about 2 pounds. So probably about a pound and a little bit of maybe a pound and a third of meat on there.
Yeah, because there's a lot of bones and fat
bones,
and crap.
but chicken bones don't weigh that much. They're kind of hollow bones. But either way, over a pound of meat, right? Also, you can buy roast chicken meat.
Oh yeah,
for
like
$9 a pound.
Right. You're like, this does not add up.
On. I can get a whole chicken with more than a pound of meat for $5.99. But if, God forbid, somebody else cuts it up instead of me, then you're going to double the price.
And usually they make it into like a shredded, so that way they don't even have to worry about.
Yeah, you don't know what it is. It's just shredded chicken meat.
Which means somebody is they're putting the gloves on and they're just ripping it apart.
Yeah.
Yes,
yep, exactly right. Yep. So that's an annoyance, because when they first came out with the shredded chicken, it was exactly the same price. It was $5.99.
You're like, that's a deal. That's okay. I get it.
I was like, hey, I don't have to bother doing that myself to the chicken. I just buy the meat right out of it.
I mean, you have a chicken guy, right?
I do not have a chicken guy.
Oh, you need anybody who wants to apply for the job of Gene's chicken guy.
Yeah, send me chickens. Yeah.
He will pay you $5 per chicken to.
But I usually try to order like a chicken every time I get groceries now, because it
makes more
cheap
sense
to pass up.
Yeah. Waythorn,
even if you throw half of it away.
Waythorn in the troll room says now in Canada, those are $14 now a piece.
No,
the chickens. Yeah.
You're kidding.
I mean, it's Canadian
$14
money.
for the chickens.
Yeah, but that's.
You know what is $14 now is pumpkin pie.
Whoa, was it because it's the holidays? We can get more for it.
I mean, I don't know what it is, but I've seen pie for under $10 forever. It's anywhere between $6.99 and $9.99. And now all of a sudden this year I saw that pumpkin pies were $14. I'm like, what the hell happened? I mean, I know what happened. Biden inflation. Inflation.
Our grocery store doesn't even have the Carnegie Deli cheesecakes this year. I think it was last year we got them, and they were like $60, and it was a big cheesecake. I mean, $60 though, still. So
that's a lot of money. Yeah.
But looking here at Gibson, you can get if you want to start with an Alaskan Red King crab cocktail. Why wouldn't you? $72 for the appetizer.
Okay.
Now, if you want do you want a super salad with that, or is that just a waste?
Yeah, let's just get a wedge.
A nice wedge salad. Loaded wedge is a 15 with bacon, tomato, and blue cheese. That's not bad.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Except that it's $15 for a salad.
And the wedge salad is like the most basic salad you can get.
Now, their whole split roasted chicken is, with fries, $31.25.
Yeah, but $31 for one chicken.
Yeah, I mean, that's well worth it.
But how about, but you don't go to Gibson's for chicken.
No, you do not. You can get some You can get some sliders for a little teaser, 3 for $20.
That's reasonable. About what I pay here in Austin.
You got your sides then. Cream spinach, $13.50.
Oh, you got to have the cream spinach.
I mean, it's so good.
Hey, every steakhouse has a great cream spinach.
I mean, that's the beauty of the whole thing. They have figured out how to take something, which is spinach, which is very healthy on its own, and nobody really likes the way it tastes. And then make it
super unhealthy by drowning it in butter.
But you feel like you're eating something healthy with the big 5-pound steak. This tastes damn good for best spinach I've ever had. Right? It's 1,800 calories just for the spinach. Oh, just ignore that part. Do not pay any attention.
Uh-huh.
Do not pay any attention. Now,
they still have the cholesterol burgers there or what?
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they got all of that. But now for the steaks.
Okay, finish it up and then I'll jump to another food thing.
The big porterhouse, 48-ounce porterhouse is now up to $165.
That's excessive. The last one of those I had, I think, was $99.
The tomahawk chop dry aged 32 ounces, $155.
Those are usually over 100, but okay.
The WR's cut, the one I like, is now at 87. I think the last time we were there, that was like 65. But then again, we understand the Biden inflation. Then they have the fillets. You got a choice of 7-ounce, 10-ounce, 14-ounce.
So 10 would be like a reasonable fillet.
That is 65.
Yeah, I mean that's Chicago's. That's like city of Chicago pricing.
That is good stuff. Good stuff. So this is why we couldn't have hey, you gave us $1,000. We'll take you to dinner here because we'd be like, oh fuck, we lost money.
Yeah,
we lost money. We'd have to keep you just on an appetizer. Is really what it would be. The let's see, the craziest dessert would be the. I think it was the macadamia turtle pie.
This really does make the Fogo de Chao seem extremely reasonably priced.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because it's just like $70 and you eat all you want.
And I'm pretty sure it was the macadamia turtle pie that we had that was frozen. So it was kind of like a ice cream pie. $25.25 for the
for a slice.
Yeah, so good though. So good. I mean, you could just get ice cream for $7, little creme brulee for $13, a chocolate chip cookie $7, bargain. Carrot cake $23.25.
Yeah. So basically, we've been able to buy one cookie to split between the two of us for every show we've done this year.
Yeah. I mean, really, if we're lucky. I mean, that's
and now you can see why I'm doing YouTube.
We might just have to do half a cookie though each show, just kind of spread it out. So we each get a quarter. I mean, that's kind of the best way to do it.
Yeah, I think so.
And I mean, so far today's show,
good stuff.
Not a single boost for today's show, and nobody is streaming sats while they listen to it. This show,
why would they?
This show is dying on the vine. It's the best show on the network, yet it's dying on the vine.
I mean, it's been around for a while. I don't know how it's on the vine, but okay.
Well, it's on the vine and it's dying.
It's been off the vine for a long time.
Billy Bones says carrot cake is gross. Fuck paying over $20 for garbage. Well, I'm with you. Carrot cake is not my favorite.
I like carrot cake.
Well, of course you would. I mean, I'm sure somebody can make a good carrot cake.
I like carrot. There's hardly any carrot in carrot cake.
Well, of course, because then it would taste like carrots and nobody would eat it.
Yeah, and the topping on it is basically cream cheese.
Now this is it. That's the trick right there. You're like, that just tastes so good.
It is. It is.
It's the holiday season. Spread a lot of cheer.
Yeah.
A lot of holiday
season
parties.
is kind of like the it's kind of like the Holocaust for us diabetics.
Oh, because you can't eat anything.
Yeah, because you can't fucking eat anything.
But everybody else is. You're like, yeah. And nobody feels bad as they're scarfing down the all the sweets right in front of you. And they're like, oh, gee, do you want a cookie? And you're like, you want to kill me?
Exactly. What are you trying to do?
And some people are like, maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a dude named Ben is already figured out where he's going to put the guns when I'm dead, that he's assuming he's going to inherit.
Oh, you have your little like Post-it notes on each one of the guns, like
no, but he does
for your guns. He puts come into your house and just like put this.
It's like, oh yeah, what's I'll just make a note here so I don't forget where I want this one after you're dead.
Well, I mean, somebody's going to have to come into your house and pretty much disassemble everything to find all the guns. So I mean, there's that part of it.
Disassemble.
Well, yeah, I mean they're not sitting out in the open. I'm betting.
Yeah, they are.
There's
a gun in every room,
just sitting out. You don't have like a little
what do I need that
thing.
For?
Well, just for fun.
God no. No, you want them easily accessible for when you need them.
And when the Hare Krishnas come to your door, you want them to be able to see very clearly that you are not a man to be trifled with.
Oh yes, I'm getting Hare Krishnas coming to my door all the time.
You do too, man. It's horrible.
Hello, 1975.
Dude, we still get them here. Not in the winter, but you probably shot enough of them down there that they're like, yeah, we'll go to Chicago where it's safe.
Didn't they start in Chicago or something?
I do not know.
Or was it California?
One of those, I'm sure, because there's insanity in both.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the holiday season. It's time for good cheer. It's time for gathering with family and friends, and Gene not drinking or eating. So there's...
Yeah, exactly. No, you're absolutely right of that. We are coming up to the annual fast.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you did that at the that was January last year.
So January, I have to pick which starting date it's going to be. It's probably January 3rd or 4th, whatever the weekend is. And 10 days of no food.
That is always fun.
Well, it's two things. One is...
See, the last time, though, did you have the Ozempic or the whatever, the Mounjaro to help?
No.
Because then it's not even a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Like that just happens when you don't even notice on Ozempic. No, I didn't. But the... it's a good test of willpower. It's a little bit of a cost savings because you don't have to buy food for a couple of weeks. And it's also something that you feel good about after doing. You don't feel good while you're doing it. You feel good after doing it. Well, you don't feel bad while you're doing it. It's just the first 3 days is really the only time that you kind of keep feeling like you're hungry.
Well, now you can spend a lot on those desserts because NetNed came in with 500 sats, which is about 50 cents.
No, that's less than 50 cents.
Is it? I thought it was right about the other day, although it did.
Is
crash.
It really? You should do a check. I didn't think that.
The other day, 1,000 sats was $1. So it was right at that amount.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
But then it came down, I think.
Yeah.
He says, Merry Christmas to Darren O and Captain No Taste Buds. Oh. Damn, I like when people send in money with insults.
Yeah. Well, that's about what, show's worth 50 cents. So that's about right.
NetNet says, what? I picked 3333. Well, that's not what it says. But that's okay. Yeah. Or did somebody bring in a...
So he sent 500. He meant to send in 333?
No, 3333.
That's unfortunate.
3333. So four digits, not three.
Oh, okay.
That is what the helipad says, and this.
Well, there are certain fees involved with getting sats through the network, so I think we're seeing those fees in effect now.
Somebody else grabbed the other amount. It's
all totally legit.
Going into Albi Hub. Let's see, received 30. Well, there now that came in. So, again, thank you, Ned. That was 3,300 satoshis there. And I like hearing the JCD in the tunnel. That sounds the coolest.
That sounds god awful, man.
And we could just add. We need a better clip or something like that for this show. And then we should also. I need to figure out how to set it over a certain threshold. But NetNet, I mean, he just came in big. He was basically being CSB for the day. Congratulations, NetNet. You are CSB for the day. Woo! We need a jingle.
Why are you insulting a guy who just sent you money?
Exactly.
Why are you insulting him?
NetNet, every rock and roll pre-show comes in with the list of birthdays. He is a highly regarded member of the community. Every musician that would be considered rock and roll that has a birthday.
All the people you steal money from?
All the birthdays for all we promote the rock and roll.
Yeah. That's not how that works.
We promote most of these guys are like 80. That's the thing with rock.
Exactly. You're taking money from
they're dead.
Old people.
They're long dead. The birthday list for rock and roll, it's like usually it's kind of sad because about 60% or 70% are dead. Yet Keith Richards lives on. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how that works.
Heroin, baby.
Yeah, it's a preservative. Little did we know.
Clearly.
Medical science is going to finally come around and find out that heroin is very healthy. That'll get us kicked off of YouTube. Heroin is healthy.
God, you're going to have false medical advice.
Healthy heroin. That should be the name of the show title. That would be
And
great.
It's even your clip, not me, for once.
That's great. That's a great game, though. Who could get us kicked off of YouTube? That would be perfect.
I think you're trying awfully hard to manage to do that. But and I guarantee you we will be, because
it's just where this show goes.
They think that anything that anybody says on any podcast or video, they're being serious.
Oh, I know. They can't.
That's YouTube's standard policy. If you've said any words that we find objectionable, clearly you meant them.
We don't understand sarcasm. We don't.
No, there's no sarcasm allowed on YouTube. What do you mean sarcasm? There's no sarcasm.
You got no sarcasm.
It's all. Every show is clearly trying to provide medical advice.
No doubt. I mean, that's what we should do, right? Medical advice. Let people know what is good, what is bad. It's what they need.
Well, I got some new drugs coming, so we'll find out next week.
I mean, they can't figure it out on their own. What kind of drugs are coming in? This is just, you said, from Amazon, though.
No, from the grocery store. I just ordered some new
drugs.
Vitamins.
Okay, what are we trying? Something new? Is it part of the fasting?
I don't remember.
So, B12, Gene! B12!
Oh, yeah, B12. I forgot
Gene
about that.
takes his B12. There we go. That's the point of the show where Gene takes his B12.
Uh-huh.
Don't worry, I already took my metoprolol with my coffee.
Oh, you're an idiot.
I wouldn't be the first co-host to tell me that.
I'm sure about that.
Or spouse or a friend or family member or
you mean I wouldn't be the first one to not tell you that.
Right, exactly. It's a way smaller list right there.
Uh-huh.
That's why we're having fun. This is why people come to Unrelenting, the 20 or 30 people that listen to the show.
Yeah. Is that what we're down to? 20 or 30? Oh my God.
And there are people
used to be 500.
That are well, I mean, I'm just talking live.
I don't care about live. I mean, like overall.
But there are people that swear by the show, and we appreciate y'all for listening.
You can't count any of the live listener people because they literally would be there regardless of what show played this time slot. No, it's not like somebody only shows up to listen to this show.
Well, I noticed they're
all retired. None of them have jobs.
Right before we went live, there were 36 people on the live stream.
There you go.
Then we got up to...
That was 30.
Once we went live, that
number went down, didn't it?
We got up to 51, so there was a little bit of a bump.
Uh-huh.
And then we started talking about the spaceships, and then it bottomed down to 43 again. And now it went back up to 60. And then I think there are people that during this show are like, let's see, they're talking about spaceships. Let me turn it off for 10 minutes and see what's going on then. Or they're talking about food.
I think you're giving them way too much credit. These are people that have prostate issues. They have to go to the bathroom and they turn off the show while they do that.
Somebody's knocking, or is that you?
Yeah, my food just showed up.
The NetNed says, if Jen Briney were live, none of us would be here. And the Reverend Dr. Pfeiffer says, literally here because there's nothing else on. See?
Yep.
So we have half and half.
Yeah. So you can't count on anybody who's listening live to actually be a listener. These are just people that have... Well, nothing better to do with their lives, apparently.
Bemro
the people that actually hit subscribe on a podcast app,
those are the ones.
At least they took some effort to subscribe to us.
Is CSB really talking about us? Bemro says, I'm literally here because CSB told me you were talking about something interesting. I'm still waiting.
Well, first of all, your first mistake is listening to CSB.
Right, who?
Your second mistake is... thinking that there's something interesting on the show that's been on for 2 years that you've heard before, and now you think there's going to be something interesting? What are you, nuts?
Have you not figured out the format?
No. And is he listening while he's driving around now, or is this his day off and he's wasting time?
I think he's off today. Which I'm like, we should have recorded.
How are you off as a delivery dude in the busiest season of the year?
I don't know, but I was.
How do they give you a day off? They shouldn't give you any days off right now.
Grumpy Old Ben's holiday episode. We should do one to have it out on Christmas Day. Imagine the surprise in all the little kids' eyes when Grumpy Old Ben's launches.
You might make $1 or $2.
Maybe people be like, "Oh, they're back," or we wouldn't. There are people that are still giving like $10 a month. There may be people that are surprised that the show stopped like 6 months ago.
I'm not one of those, am I?
To go on.
Yeah, I hope not.
I wish that would be the best. But no, you've never donated to Grumpy Old Ben's, I don't think.
I totally have donated to Grumpy Old Ben's.
I don't know.
I have records of it.
I don't.
I donated with a note that says you guys should have me on.
Oh, and then we did.
And then you didn't for like 2 years.
Well, I mean, a lot of people say we should have them on. Most of them, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much. Grumpy Old Ben's is the best tech podcast. It's on hiatus. It'll be back.
Hiatus.
I'm just really surprised Ben Rose has not killed anybody as a delivery driver, dealing with packages, dealing with customers, dealing with, I'm guessing, some inclement weather.
I'm curious about, I want to know how many of those packages Bemrose gets to keep.
Well, just the ones that say like, hookers and blow on the outside.
I'm sure he shakes them a little bit to see what's in there before he decides.
NetNet says you may have just donated to Grumpy Old Ben's in your trucker simulation game. See, that's possible too. You simulated.
Yeah, and then that pays attention way too much to what I'm doing.
Like, isn't this great though? This is why the show works. People are like, did Gene ever get rid of that mirror that was sitting in his foyer?
No, I still have it.
When will the mirror leave the house?
When I get around to it.
That is a good idea.
The important thing about mirrors is just simply not to break them.
And Bemrose did say that a lot of people in his area do leave things out for the delivery driver, which is way nicer than most people.
What do you mean? Garbage?
Like
packages that have been opened?
No, like soda, unopened bottles and cans. And
I seriously would not trust anything somebody left out.
Geez, like these people,
especially in the state he's in.
Yeah, right.
It probably has heroin in it.
Little what do you call fentanyl?
Yeah, fentanyl. Exactly. That's the drug of choice up there in Seattle land.
He's like, "Come on, delivery driver, you want a little fentanyl, man?"
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Geez, yeah, NetNet said you always talk about the trucker sim game, and you talked about it so much he thought it might be cool for a second. The fentanyl is what we call a perk, says Bemrose. See, I mean, this is a whole
perk.
It'll perk you up, all right. Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Just wait till they put you behind the wheel of an AI automobile.
Exactly. Yeah, I think what's going to happen eventually, and all kidding aside, is they probably will have Amazon quote unquote drivers whose job it is to be basically in the back of a truck.
Right.
And the truck drives itself.
And then you jump out when you get to the address.
Yep.
And you better be back quick
The truck
enough.
will leave with or without you. Right. Exactly. Because the truck knows how long it should take you to drop that pack. That's coming. If it's not here already, it's absolutely coming.
I can't wait to see like the big sign on the outside, like counting down 5, 4.
Yep.
No.
And then they're going to have like the delivery drivers that are hooked into the drones.
Oh, we just drop them out of the. How's your parachuting skills, Bemrose?
It's no. They'll be on the line.
Just
the drone will lower you down, tether you down. You put the package where it's safe, and then it'll suck you back up to the drone, and then fly out to the next place.
You're like, "Merry Christmas!"
Now,
he'd be like Santa Claus. People would see Bemrose, they would think Santa Claus.
Yeah, you'll get stuck in a chimney. That's true.
True. Yeah. Ben.
Dude named Ben took some photos of the Amazon drones flying over his house.
Ooh, are these like the big drones?
Yeah. Nice. He's got the big drones from Amazon flying there now.
Is this what they're testing in Jersey or something? You'll find out. This was just Amazon.
He lives close to a college down there. And so I think the Amazon's got a deal with the college to make deliveries by drone.
Interesting.
And so he's seeing him flying. I don't think he's getting deliveries by drone, but he's seeing him flying overhead all the time.
And if anybody is interested in an account on Perplexity, I don't understand why. It is another one of these AI things, Perplexity.ai. They ping whatever word you want to use. So you can put in a query, and they use ChatGPT, they use Claude, they use, the other services. So it's kind of an aggregator in one way or another. That was the link that I sent you earlier when I was like, who is Gene? And then it didn't know anything about your podcast.
Nothing. Yep.
Now, Kevin Rose, I guess, gave away like $1 million worth of because they're like ChatGPT. They're charging $20 a month. And
fuck that.
On Xfinity, because I have an Xfinity account, and then my parents got one as well. I got a link, and I didn't really understand because it said you get a free year, which I did. But then it also said the link works up to 8 times. So I'm assuming if I share that link now that I got my free year.
Yeah, you can get more people linked in there. Yeah.
That is, Waythorn says, here we go. I got him on Perplexity, and now he's doing referral codes. No, you didn't, because I wouldn't have bought it.
Yeah.
I mean, he mentioned it, though. Waythorn was the one that mentioned it. That's first where I heard about it. And then all of a sudden,
this show sponsored by Perplexity.
It was
your one-stop shop for AI-based news on any topic. Simply read in one word, and it will spit out everything that you could find yourself on Google.
Waythorn mentioned it. Then it was in my email. Then I got a year free, and now I'm like, well, if I can find that link, even, but if that would
get your free year using Darren's code,
but it's not going to get us anything. I mean, that would be nice. If we can do that, that would be great. But I don't understand why. One, they gave Kevin Rose a bunch. I don't know if he's a investor or not, but okay. Why give everybody with an Xfinity account something free that is worth, allegedly $20 a month? And then even if you're like, okay, because they want to get people used to using it, adding on that every one of those Xfinity people could then share it with 7 other people. It just seems like they're giving away a lot of free accounts. I don't think
you understand how advertising works.
Well, I do understand.
Do you understand what cost of acquisition is?
I understand, according to Adam Curry and John C. Dvorak, the cost every time somebody does a query on these AIs. So why you would want to immediately open up to millions of new people using the system for free. But I guess maybe it is just, hey, we get you for it. Maybe they have enough money to run the next year, and what they're really hoping is once the year ends, everybody's gonna be like, oh, I love this so much, I'm gonna pay.
You don't need everybody renewing. You just need a percentage of people to renew.
Waythorn
says, you need to enter a credit card when you signed up?
Turn on. No, I did not, which is the other great thing. And it was the first thing I generated a new email from
oh, nice.
The other email service, Proton.
Yeah.
Turn on searches to the Sonar Huge model for text searches. See, I mean, there's some interesting things being done with AI, but it still didn't know that Gene was a podcaster, which, when you listen to this show, there's a question of whether he is. So, I mean, that's anybody's guess.
I don't know that I want to be associated with those people.
I don't know either. And there is no podcasting 2.0 today. Just want to point that out.
Are they taking the time off?
They must be. And I think that's why we should do that next week.
No, we're not going to do that. We, unlike all these slackers, are hardworking people that like to work hard.
And thanks
it's
to
not
Scott
Christmas.
and NetNet are the only people. Yeah, but the wife's off, so we got shit to do. You know how it is. I will double check on
this is your excuse to not have to do some of that shit.
I mean, really, that's what I'm using on Monday for Planet Rage, the show that makes more than $10 a show. I mean, Larry, people
does it really though?
Yeah. I mean, we probably average. I mean, it's not great, but I think that's still probably more about $100 a show on average.
$100 a show. Okay, you're making less on that show than I am on YouTube. Okay.
Well, 100 per show, so $50 for 2 hours. Are you making over $25 an hour?
No, I'm definitely not making over $25 an hour.
All I know is Sir Gene owes me and Sir Bemrose lunch. I mean, he already got Bemrose a lunch. Why does he owe you a lunch?
Who?
So, Ned.
Why would I owe Ned lunch?
I don't know. But he took Bemrose out for sushi. I don't know if that counts, though, when he made the other guy pay for it. But, I mean,
It totally counts.
Like, I hooked you up with free sushi.
That was an expensive meal. That was not.
Well, Bemrose likes a lot of sushi.
He does like a lot of sushi. Who doesn't?
The best sushi is free
What
sushi.
I love is immediately after the bill, he just took off.
Gotta go. Nice seeing you guys. Gotta go.
Pretty much. We're like, okay, have a good one.
He said it was tasty sushi. So there you go. I still never had sushi, and I would still rather just die eating red meat than on sushi.
Oh, sushi's good, man.
So no podcasting 2.0 today, and the wife is not coming home for lunch. So, I mean, I could just keep going for another 3 hours.
What do you want to? No, let's hang up. I'm going to go get my food, and then I need to talk to you about the Bitcoin crap.
Oh, the Bitcoin crap. Well, what I will do too is, if you want to do the food, I can go and grab a quick lunch too.
The LB thing. Okay.
The LB
Sounds
thing.
Good.
The LB thing.
All right, guys, we'll wrap up, and then I will see you in a little bit.
Merry Christmas, trolls.
Karl Marx. Fuck Karl Marx. He's a big fucking faggot pussy.